Hello again. So if anybody is joining me now, this is the bonus round for all those rugby geeks amongst us, or anyone who's just a casual fan who wants a bit more in the way of rugby. So I can't see if anyone has joined me yet, so if you have, please let me know in the chat so I know that I'm not talking to myself. Although I may well be. We'll wait and find out. But what I've got for you now is just another 15 questions about the Six Nations and rugby, in case you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit more. And I know that some of you may be watching this afterwards, so may not be able to comment to me straight away, but we'll see. I just know it went down well with the Harry Potter quiz, so I thought I would do a little bonus round on Six Nations for you. And, you know, I like doing extra quizzes. So I'll just give you a moment to see if anyone else is logging on, and then we'll see how we're going, and I'll start. So I'm just finishing off my Gatland's Law, ready for tomorrow's Grand Slam games. Yeah, because I've got my Sheriff with Ken Owens, great hooker. Will he get in the Lions squad? I don't know. And then I've got my North Star for George North. Yes, very swiftly coming up to be the top try scorer in the Six Nations history. Yeah, so that's what I'll be drinking tomorrow during the Grand Slam game. But yes, I can see that it seems to have a few logged on. So I think, well, I say a few. We've got 2 logged on. But here we go anyway with the bonus round questions for you. So I won't do a big break in the middle. I'll just do a very short break and you can pause it and then catch up if you need to. But here we go with the Six Nations bonus questions. 15 questions for you. Question number 1. In what year did France join the Home Nations Championship, thus creating the 5 nations? So in what year did France join the Home Nations Championship, thus forming the 5 nations? Was it in 1900, 1905, or 1910? So when did France join the Home Nations to form the 5 nations? 1900, 1905, or 1910? Question number 2. Which nation has won the most championships in the tournament history? So going all the way back to the Home Nations Championship, the 5 nations, the 6 nations, which nations has the most tournament victories? Question number 3. Which Irishman is the top points scorer in the competition's history with a whopping 557 points? Which Irishman is the top points scorer in the competition's history with a whopping 557 points? Question 4. With 63 appearances, who has made more Six Nations appearances than any other player? So with 63 appearances, who has made more Six Nations appearances than any other player? Question 5. Which banking group became the first sponsor of the tournament in 1999? Which banking group became the first sponsors of the tournament in 1999? Question 6. In which city are the headquarters of the Six Nations? In which city are the headquarters of the Six Nations? Question number 7. What were first introduced for the 2017 tournament, which had previously been used in all other major rugby tournaments? So what were first introduced for the 2017 tournament, which had previously been used in all other major rugby tournaments? Question number 8. How has Joy Neville made Six Nations history this year? So how has Joy Neville made Six Nations history this year? Question number 9. Who is the only player to have won Player of the Tournament 3 times in his career? So who is the only player to have won Player of the Tournament 3 times in his career? And just to let you know, the Player of the Tournament is a very recent addition to the tournament, about the same time as it became the Six Nations, in fact. Then we're on to question number 10. Before moving to the Stadio Olimpico in 2012, where did Italy play their home games? Before moving to the Stadio Olimpico in 2012, where did Italy play their home games? Question 11. Which two nations compete for the Old Alliance Trophy? So which two nations compete for the Old Alliance Trophy? Question 12. Welsh prop John Davis made history in 1995. How? Welsh prop John Davis made history in 1995. How? So it was Five Nations history at the time, but how did Welsh prop John Davis make history in 1995? Question number 13. What is the name of the annual tournament that runs alongside the Six Nations, contested by nations such as Georgia and Romania, that is often referred to as the Six Nations B? So what is the name of the annual tournament competed alongside the Six Nations, contested by teams such as Georgia and Romania, which is sometimes referred to as the Six Nations B, or the Six Nations Second Division, some people call it. And question number 14. Who are the current holders of the Women's Six Nations Championship? Who are the current holders of the Women's Six Nations Championship? And then the final of your 15 bonus round questions. Who is the current head coach of the French rugby team? Who is the current head coach of the French rugby team? So those are your questions in this bonus round for you. So if you're watching this on catch up, so it's not live for you, what is going to happen in a moment is the stay in kind of logo screen will pop up, and if you want to pause the screen there while you finalise any answers, you can do. If you're watching live, thank you for joining me live after a quiz. I don't know who you are because nobody's commented on who you are, but I know that a couple of teams are joining along live, so thank you for joining me. So what is going to happen for you is that the stay in logo team screen will pop up for a few seconds, and then I'll be back with the answers to these questions. So here I am back with the answers to your Stay In Six Nations Edition bonus round. For all you rugby fans out there who wanted a bit more of a test with these questions, because I do make it accessible for all when we have the theme weeks. So here are your answers. I wonder how you've got on with these 15 Six Nations questions. Question number 1. France joined the Home Nations Championship to form the Five Nations in 1910. So the nation that's had the most tournament victories is England. They've had more victories than any other nation. If you count tied championships, then Wales come into it as well, but England have won most outright, so are generally considered to have won more tournaments than anybody else. Question 3. The top point scorer in the tournament's history is Ronan O'Gara. He scored 557 points. The player who has 63 appearances, more than anybody else, is Italy's Sergio Parisse. What a player. Absolute legend. Question 5. The banking group who became the first sponsors was Lloyd's TSB. It was the Lloyd's TSB, Six Nations for a while. We moved on to RBS and NatWest, and now we're at Guinness. Question 6. The headquarters of the Six Nations is in Dublin. Question 7. In 2017, it was bonus points which were introduced. Of course, you get a bonus point for 4 tries or more, being within 7 points, and you also get special bonus points for a Grand Slam. Question 8. Joy Neville has made history this season because she's the first female TMO, so the first female official in a Six Nations match. Won't be long until I'm sure she is the assistant or referee herself, possibly. 9. The only player to have won 3 Player of the Tournament is Brian O'Driscoll. Question 10. Before moving to the Stadio Olimpico, Italy played in the Stadio Flaminio. Question 11. The 2 nations which compete for the Old Alliance trophy are Scotland and France. Question 12. Welsh prop John Davis made history in 1995. He was the first player to be sent off in a 5 Nations match, or 6 Nations as it became. He was the first one to be sent off. Question 13. It was the European Nations Cup, which is the 2nd division of the Six Nations, which Georgia seem to win every year at the moment. Question 14. The current holders of the Women's Six Nations is England, by far the most successful team in the women's tournament. Question 15. The current head coach of the French rugby team is Fabien Galtier. So there you are. Thank you if you have joined me for this extra bonus round, or if you happen to have stumbled across it somehow. If you're watching live, please let me know how you've got on in the chat with those questions. If you have just stumbled across this, I do quizzes every Friday evening at the moment while the pubs are closed. But there's Stay In, my virtual pub. So if you'd like to join us every Friday at 8 for the foreseeable future, because the pubs are closed, I'll be here doing different quizzes. You can follow it on facebook.com/Scuizzes, which you can just about see if I move there. There you go, facebook.com/Scuizzes. Everything is red and I'm wearing a red top. It doesn't help, does it? Or just subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and you'll get all the information you need. But next week, it is the Stay In Night at the Movies quiz. So please come along, dress up as your favourite character and send through pictures on Facebook or whichever other social media you want, and then I'll share the best ones. But next week is our Stay In Night at the Movies quiz. I hope you will be able to join us for that. But thank you so much for joining me for this bonus round, and hopefully I will quiz you soon. Good night.